welcome to the interview. As I said, you've had the questions already, so hopefully nothing that we say will be a surprise to you. So welcome, and if you could just give us a brief introduction, just your names and your ages, and then we can get going from there.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I'm 18.
I'm Robin, I'm 24.
Thank you both for being here today. It is really appreciated. So what first drew you to the volunteering role?
Well, it started off really as trying to find an industry placement for my college course, but then it kind of developed into something that was really a passion. So at first it was like, oh, I just need this to fill my hours in, but then it actually became something that I was really interested in.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm also just really interested in mental health, and I want to train to be a counsellor, so I kind of wanted some experience in the industry. So I found Healthwatch and thought that would work.
Thank you. And how long have you both been volunteering?
I started volunteering, I think it was August 2020.
Yeah, I'm the same, August 2020, so like 8-9 months.
Something like that, yeah.
And could you give us an insight into the types of projects you've been working on whilst you've been volunteering?
Okay, well, I will talk about the one that I know more of, and I'm sure Robin knows exactly which one she's going to talk about. We have done the Mystery Shop project, which was reviewing the CAMS and On Your Mind website. We have also presented some of our findings of that project to the Children and Young People's Mental Health Network, also to the Senior Board of Wiltshire Council, I think that's what they're called. And yeah, we came up with another project through that first one, which Robin's going to talk about now.
Yeah, so the other main one that we've both done is the peer listeners group. It was, like Erin said, through the other one, Sheldon originally came to us, and we've kind of now developed a training program that a lot of other schools and colleges and everything are interested in as well. It's 3 hours in total, it's 2 separate sessions on kind of how to set up their peer listening group within their own schools and colleges, but also providing them with training just in terms of awareness of mental health, awareness of like youth suicide, how to start conversations, body language. It's a lot picking that, obviously, but yeah, that's the sort of thing that's in that. And then through that as well, we've also done the youth resource list, because I'm also on a board through Healthwatch as well, which is Mental Health Wiltshire online board. And we, with that, made like an adult resource list, mainly to send to like GPs and everything, but it's ended up being quite widely spread and downloaded on the website. So it kind of made sense to make a youth one with our training program, and that's also now being shared quite widely. They're the main ones we've done.
Brilliant. Sounds really quite involved, and has with it being so involved, has the current pandemic, has that impacted the way that you volunteer at all?
Well, I think for us it hasn't really impacted at all, because we started in lockdown and it's just what we're used to. So it was all online from the get-go. If anything, I think I'll be a little bit more nervous when it's actual face-to-face contact, because it's something that I'm just really not used to. But yeah, I think the only way it's impacted it is that we just can't all sit in a room together and talk about our ideas just in person. I think that's the only way. If Robin has something else, I'm sure she'll say.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we've done it only in a pandemic, it hasn't. The only thing that I can think of is with the schools group. We were always going to run our training online, but they were supposed to all be in person having the training and then be able to run the group straight away, which obviously when the schools then didn't go back, or did and then went back home again, they then couldn't run that. So I think most of it's now September again now. That's kind of the only way.
Thank you. You've talked about, obviously you started volunteering during the lockdown. Has the pandemic and the subsequent lockdowns, have they impacted you personally?
I would say yes, but more within the sense of it's just people that I'm very cautious around now, because it's like, oh, they might be ill, or And it's especially in supermarkets as well. If I'm walking around and there's a bunch of people gathered in one group, I get a really bad, like, heavy feeling on my chest, and it's almost like a panic attack. So I think my social anxiety has gone up quite a lot. Everything else, no, not really. I've just been cracking on as usual.
I think in terms of, well, in the first one, I lived in Birmingham, was put on furlough for like the whole of the first one, and then I then moved back in with my parents to Wiltshire, and then got a new job here in a supermarket. So in terms of my actual life, it's quite different, like through the pandemic. And I think I was probably, I guess, more like to get a job in a supermarket because it was the only thing open. So I guess if that affected it in that way. So it was the only place that was kind of hiring. But in terms of personal, I guess it's as well that all my friends live around the country because I mainly have like university friends. So I haven't seen anyone in like at least 6 months that way, but yeah.
And have either of you been offered your COVID vaccination? Have you had a vaccination at all?
No, I haven't been offered mine at all. Don't know when or where that's coming.
Yeah, no either.
Will you have the vaccine when you're offered it?
I'm not, well, I'm leaning more towards yes, because it's more like better to be safe than sorry. But I am kind of on the fence with it because, you know, I've had like a couple of friends who have been like violently ill from it, and yeah, I don't know if that's worth it, quite honestly.
I definitely want it. I'm like, please give it to me as soon as possible.
So touching on what you just said, Erin, obviously you've said there that you know some people that have experienced some side effects of the vaccine. Do either of you have any concerns at all? Obviously, you know, in line with what you said there about the side effects.
Well, all I've really heard, because it's all been things that have been spread around college, really. So all I've heard is that a few people were fine with it. A few people felt violently ill. A couple of other people's just had a few symptoms. And then there's the main thing that's going around, which is, oh, I don't trust the vaccine because it's made by Pfizer. And it's like, oh, okay, fair enough. I don't really know too much about them, but that's what's been going around mainly, is that the people just don't trust the company it's being made by.
I guess I'm a bit, like most people I know, like Erin said, have been fine, and there's a few people that have got like bad flu symptoms for a couple of days. It wouldn't stop me getting it, but I guess I'd just be a bit nervous.
And what would you say to other sort of young people sort of around your ages and up to sort of the 18 to 30 cohort who do have concerns about the vaccination?
If you're genuinely concerned about it, do your research, realize what it is that you're putting into your body, and then realize the good benefits that are coming from it, and dispel all the myths yourselves, I suppose, because it's all well and good playing Chinese whispers saying, oh, it does this, it does that, but you have to actually boil it down to the actual facts and decide for yourself whether it's something that you want.
I feel like it's thinking about the bigger picture that we want kind of to be able to see people again, be able to go back and do things again. And so it's kind of worth any short-term issues to have it. And I want to be able to see like my grandparents and everything again. I think although COVID might not kill us, it will probably kill the people you want to see. So I think it's thinking about the bigger picture.
No, absolutely. So you've talked there, you know, about sort of doing research and sort of the bigger picture, if you put it. Do you know where to find sort of resource and reliable information about the vaccine?
No, not really. I've kind of had a poke about on like the NHS website and just some like blogs and stuff that people have been putting up from their experiences with the vaccine, and it varies very wildly. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint the truth and kind of know what to expect either, because it's all very up in the air and unpredictable.
Yeah, I would probably say the NHS website, and I probably wouldn't trust anything that didn't have like NHS approved to do with it, just because there's so much random gossip and everything. But yeah, anything that wasn't the NHS website, or at least working with the NHS website, then I probably wouldn't trust it.
Thank you. And you've said there about the NHS website. So how do you think the NHS could improve engagement within young people within your community regarding the vaccine? Obviously, you've talked there about sort of not necessarily knowing the exact sort of places to go to find the information, or as you've sort of said, regarding the myth busting as well. So do you think the NHS can improve on that within the local community?
I think I think it would be a lot easier if they just kind of put out something that said, you know, this is where to find all your information. If you have any concerns, this is where it's all going to be. So it's all in one place and you don't have to go searching around for it. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. With young people, just don't force it on them, because otherwise they go, oh, I don't want to do that now because you've told me to. So I guess that's the best thing I could, best advice I could give.
I'd say, yeah, with like, say, places like the NHS website, having it be like thorough and everything, because if someone's going onto that, they obviously want everything. But I think in terms of engaging people, kind of want to go where the young people already are online. Like I saw a YouTuber I follow made a video that she literally worked with the NHS, like they'd fact checked everything. And that was really good because you kind of knew that everything had been checked by doctors and everything. And she literally had a doctor in the video kind of answering any harder questions. And I feel like that's quite good because a YouTuber or people on Instagram or something that young people are already following and already trust, as long as it's making sure that everything is fact checked.
You've mentioned, you've mentioned a couple of providers there, and you know, social media plays such an active part in the majority of people's lives, especially within sort of younger communities. Do you think social media, you know, touching on what you just said there, do you think social media can play a part for the NHS to engage with young people in relation to the COVID vaccine?
Yes, definitely. Purely because that's where a lot of people, like young people, spend their time, especially since, you know, there's nothing else to do. So I mean, I'll be sat there scrolling through Instagram and I'll get loads of posts coming up from Healthwatch, from other volunteer jobs, from stuff like that, but that is purely because I'm subscribed to all of it. Not every young person is going to see that. So another thing I would say is just make it public, make sure that it's something that everybody will be able to see on their feed.
Yeah, I think because like you said, you can do like push tweets, like sponsored tweets and stuff that more people would then see that aren't necessarily like following a specific person or sponsored on Instagram and everything. And I do think it's a really good way of doing it, because I think we've talked about it before when we were doing like the mystery shop with the websites, where that was better than social media because it was with mental health, you want it to be consistent information that's not changing. But with something like this, it is constantly changing. Like obviously the vaccine itself isn't changing, but I mean the information on it, which age group can have it, like which, I mean, people are saying the stuff about which ones are safe and others, which I don't believe, but it's there. Because there's constantly changing information, I feel like that's the greatest strength of social media, is you can just constantly be like checking that and it being new information that's still relevant.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we really do appreciate your time today, and thank you for being so open and so honest with us. One thing I wanted to add just before the end of this was, when this goes out, if there's any sort of young people that are watching that want to get involved in volunteering but don't necessarily know how, could you just sort of give an overview of how they would go about it?
Well, if I would say if you're in like the age range between like 16 and 18, or if you're attending somewhere like college or school, go and see your careers advisor. They've always got volunteer jobs, or even some paid ones as well, but volunteer particularly is really good, not only because it just looks amazing on your CV, but it really gives you a sort of like sense of pride, because you feel like you're doing something really good for your community, and like it's actually like going out there and people are seeing the good work that you're doing.
Yeah, I think like you said, careers advisor, and then the equivalent to that at uni with, there's like careers advisor, but also loads of societies. Like there was a lot of charity ones that I had when I went to uni, and that was kind of how I first got involved with that kind of volunteering. And it's just really easy, and it's also really social. And then kind of coming out of that, when you're not in that environment, I just say Google it. Like I think if you Google like your local area, and I just did like mental health whatever you're kind of passionate in, you will find like loads of stuff will come up, and there'll be like different websites, and usually like the council websites tend to have like a master list of loads of things in your area, but it is quite easy to find when you Google it.
And Healthwatch Wiltshire is always looking for more volunteers.
Well, thank you both very much for your time, and like I said, thank you for your honesty with the questions. We really do appreciate it, and we do wish you all the best with your volunteering in the future and where that will lead for you.